you are struggling with adding or managing users in Google Tag Manager containers, then this video is for you. I have seen so many clients who do not understand what are the difference between settings and Google Tag Manager accounts and how they can give different levels of permission to the users who are going to work on Google Tag Manager containers. So in this video, I'm going to break down what are Google Tag Manager accounts and what are the containers, what are different level of permissions we have, how to add user inside each of these things, and how you can remove someone if you want to. So first thing first, what are the differences between Google Tag Manager accounts and containers? You can think of account as a main level thing where you can have more than 100 different Google Tag Manager containers. Each Google account can have multiple Google Tag Manager accounts, and each account can have more than 100 containers. The main purpose of the account is on the organization level. It helps to manage different Google Tag Manager containers on that account. Whereas in the Google Tag Manager containers, we have different tags, trigger variables that are firing on either website or mobile apps. When you first log into tagmanager.google.com, the first thing you have to create is the account. And once you have created the account, then you will create specific Google Tag Manager container for different websites. You can think of account as global thing. Any changes you make to the settings on the account level, they will automatically be implemented to all the containers that are inside that account. However, the vice versa is not possible. If you give someone access to only one Google Tag Manager container, they can only see tags and trigger inside that one, and they cannot make any changes to the Google Tag Manager account or any containers that you might have inside the same account. Lastly, the uses. The main usage of having the Google Tag Manager account is to make sure that you can manage all the containers at one place, and the main uses of tags inside the Google Tag Manager container is to fire different tracking scripts and analytics tags. Most of the time, what you are going to be working with are the containers. There are very few cases when you have to give access to the Google Tag Manager account to someone unless you have multiple containers for the same website. For example, some of the clients who have server-side tracking configuration, they might need to give access to their Google Tag Manager account to the person who is working with them. Now let's talk about different level of permissions that we have inside Google Tag Manager. Since we have two different things such as accounts and containers, we will be talking about accounts first, what level of permissions we have inside accounts, and then we will move on to the containers permission levels. On Google Tag Manager account level, we have two different kind of permissions. One is the admin and the other one is user. Admin have all the access of the users, and it can basically remove or delete any kind of Google Tag Manager account, or it can also delete any users that have access to the Google Tag Manager account and containers. Most of the time, you have to give access to the users thing to anyone who is working with you. If someone has a user access to the Google Tag Manager account, they automatically get all the access of the containers that are inside them. Coming to the container level permissions, we have here mainly two kind of permission. One is the admin level, and then we have user level permissions. Inside the admin, you basically give them control on who they want to add and if they want to remove any user from the account. And if you just give them the user level permission, we have two different permission settings inside the user. We have either editor or viewer. If you give someone editor access, they will be able to make changes to the Google Tag Manager container, publish them, and do whatever. However, if you only restrict them to viewer access, they will not be able to make any changes inside the Google Tag Manager container, and they will be restricted to just viewing the tags and trigger. If you are working with someone and you want them to configure tracking for your website, you have to give them at least admin access to the Google Tag Manager container or viewer editor access so they can publish the container and make all the changes that they need. Now let's just see how to add a user inside Google Tag Manager container. You can head over to tagmanager.google.com and you will be able to see this platform. If you go back to the home page of the Google Tag Manager account, you will be able to see all the accounts and container you have. This thing with the border is basically an account with this particular client, and they have this Google Tag Manager container inside it. This is a separate account which have two Google Tag Manager container. This is another account which has two Google Tag Manager container. One is web and one is server. If you're just working with the web clients, there might be just one container here. So once you're here, let's just go into a demo account so we don't mess with any of the clients account. Just go to the admin section of your Google Tag Manager container and you're going to see two different columns. On the left side, we have account settings, and on the right side, we have container setting. If you want to add any users or remove them from the account level, you can click on the user management on the account level. And if you want to make changes to the user management on the container level, you can do it right here. So just click on the user management on the account level and you will see a plus button on the top right corner on how to add a user. Once you click on the add user, you just need to add the email address of the user. Let's do that. Perfect. Once you have added the email, you have two different options. You can either give them access to the administrator level or the user level. If you give them the access to the user level, they will only have the permission of this particular account. However, if you give them access to the administrator level, they will have access to all the Google Tag Manager containers. You are also seeing that it from the same page on the Google Tag Manager account, you can also give them permission to specific containers. So if you click on the any of the containers that you have, since I only have one container, I can see one container. You can give them publish access, approve access, edit access, and read access. Let's just quickly go through all of these four different permission levels inside Google Tag Manager container settings. If you give them someone just reading access, they will be able to view the tags and not do anything. These are basically user read only access, and these are the user editor access. If you give them edit access, they will be able to make changes to the Google Tag Manager container, variables, and everything, but they won't be able to publish those changes. If you give them approve access, they will be able to push the container to the live version, but the container will not be publicly available on the production level. It will only be available inside Google Tag Manager as a new version. If you give them publish access, then this container will be live on the website. So once you have added the email address of the user, just click on invite and the invite will be sent to the user. Since I have already sent this to the user, I can see that the invite is pending. Great. Now let's say we want to add a user on our container level. So instead of going to the account settings, we are going on the container settings. Click on the user management system and then click on the add user. It's pretty much the same process. Let's add an email address. And let's say I want to give them publish access. So I will hit publish and then hit invite. Doing this, it will send an invite to the user. They have been invited to access this thing on the Google Tag Manager container. Let me show you quickly how to remove a user from your Google Tag Manager account and container. The process is going to be pretty much the same. You just have to go through different user management settings if you want to remove someone. For example, on the account level, you can see all the users who have been given access to any containers or access to the accounts. If you see someone who is an admin, that means this access is right under the Google Tag Manager account level, not the container level. So let's say we want to remove this user. Once you click on it, you will see a button right on the top which says remove user. You can remove it right here. And the other option to remove a user is from the container level. If you go to user access management inside the container, you can see the user whose invite is pending and you can just remove them from right here. So once you have completed working with a consultant on Google Tag Manager account, you can remove their email address from right here. Let's say you also want to remove yourself from Google Tag Manager container. I don't really recommend this, but if you want to do that, you need to have someone, some other person who is the admin of the account. You can see an option which says remove yourself. Even if you will click remove yourself, you won't be able to remove yourself because you are still the only admin. There has to be one admin person who is there to take the access. It says that, oh, you cannot do this thing because there is no other admin on this Google Tag Manager account. That being said, if a Google Tag Manager account and container has been created, it has to have an admin. However, you can delete the Google Tag Manager account and container if you don't want to. You can just go to account settings, click on three dots and delete the container. As long as the container or the account is existing, someone has to be the admin. Otherwise, you have to delete the accounts and container. If you delete this account, then all the users and all the tags and all the containers inside this thing will be deleted. For the next 30 days, you will be able to see this option right here at the bottom, where under the trash can, you will have an option to revive this account. You can just click on it and hit restore. However, if you don't do it in 30 days, this account will be permanently deleted. So I hope this video was helpful. If you're working with someone, just a short summary. If you're working with someone and you want to give them access to your Google Tag Manager account, you can add them as a user in your account setting, or you can give them admin permission in your Google Tag Manager container settings. I hope this video was helpful. Until then, have a good day. Goodbye.